We're in St. Joseph County, Indiana, the selection of 2018's Jimmy and Rosalynn Carter's work project, where for over a year, hundreds of volunteers, donors, and corporate sponsors, alongside the future homeowners themselves, are building entire neighborhoods literally from the ground up. Since 1976, Habitat for Humanity has built more than 70,000 new homes and rehabbed another 100,000 all over the world. Over 30 years ago, former President and First Lady Jimmy and Rosalynn Carter, in partnership with Habitat for Humanity, started their own initiative, selecting a local Habitat for Humanity chapter to help realize the dream of home ownership for many families, truly solidifying the concept of community and the embodiment of some sweat equity. Now, these builds are taking place across two sites, one in the northwest neighborhood of South Bend and the other in Mishawaka. But the lack of affordable housing and inability for many American families to purchase their own homes is a major issue affecting communities across the United States and people of all socioeconomic backgrounds.
You know, it kind of started in 2011. A good friend of our affiliate named Leroy Troyer, who's an architect, Leroy has led President Carter's build site for over 30 years. And so he's got such a history, and I said, Leroy, let's put in an application. Wouldn't President Carter like to come to your hometown and to help, and build with you and with people that you know and you've been a part of this community? And we're very fortunate that they chose us. There's only been 35 Carter work projects in the history of the project. There's only been 35 locations, and now St. Joe County, Indiana can say we're one of those 35. And not only our staff, but just the community in general has just really stepped up. Here in the Midwest, or I should say here in our county, an average 2-bedroom apartment is going to cost about $875 a month. So these families living in these houses, they're going to have a mortgage, but their payment's going to be $550 to $600 a month. And what I love about Habitat is it's not just a short-term fix. This has a generational impact on families. I mean, they're going to be living in this house, many of them for 15, 20, 30 years. It really is something that impacts them for generations.
Montana, tell me a little bit about your role here with Habitat.
Yeah, I'm the programs director with Habitat for Humanity of St. Joe County. We've built over 200 homes now just here in St. Joseph County, Indiana, and we've served over 500 families with our various housing solutions.
You've got counties all around the country.
Correct.
And those numbers are fairly consistent, right, with the amount of homes that you guys create nationally.
Yeah, even just nationally here, Habitat for Humanity is typically, some years we've been in the top 5, but generally we're a top 10 home builder in the United States.
I want you to take a moment for someone that doesn't know the mission of Habitat, who you help,
Sure.
and the impact that it can have.
We like to say that we build strength, stability, and self-reliance through shelter. So we're really empowering those individuals and families that may not be able to purchase a home through a conventional mortgage or traditional means, and we're offering them a hand up opposed to a handout. Common misconception here in St. Joe County, but also all over the United States and internationally, is that Habitat just gives homes away for free. And certainly that's not the case. Our families do pay a mortgage, just like any other homeowner. They pay property taxes, they maintain their homeowner's insurance. And as you'll find out, our families put in a lot of hard work, not only here, but in the classroom, earning hours towards their financing credit for the purchase of their new home.
When we first heard about Habitat, it's like, okay, they build houses, but it's much more than that. Now, we know what it really takes and the process it takes to get our own house. And it's not just building homes, they're actually making us stronger.
When we first heard we were accepted, I think the boys cheered at the excitement of the idea of getting their own room. We were excited for the opportunity to have ownership of something, to have a place that was their home.
Maintaining affordability over the long run is a huge factor for what Habitat does to prepare their participants, and that extends beyond the build. Utilities are a major cost factor for renters and homeowners alike, and for over 20 years, Carrier has played a huge role in these builds. And for this year's project, Carrier took the idea to a whole new level. Traditionally, Habitat homes never included air conditioning, and you had a little bit of an involvement to make sure that this project, the homes had central air, right?
Sure, so air conditioning was not always a standard feature on our new homes, trying to maintain affordability, but we also realized that the pros outweighed the cons of having a central unit, and we saw things like improved health and safety for the family and their children. We saw that the houses were looking better. They were quieter now that we had an exterior unit installed. They are holding their value more with that central air conditioning unit. So all around, we just saw a lot of value in including those units. We've always enjoyed working with Carrier in the past, but we're so fortunate to have their partnership and cooperation, especially on a level of a project like this.
But then what Carrier is doing by giving us good equipment, good heating and cooling equipment, you're helping to keep their utility costs down. And so that is so important to keeping the house affordable, and it's life-changing for these families.
Adding those high efficiency ACs that you guys are providing, yeah, we're glad. We don't have air fans in the window. We'll have the AC unit.
There's lots of times in the summer where I'm like ill because of the heat, like I get heat exhaustion. So to have air that's gonna be like new and ours and wonderful from you guys, we really appreciate it and I'm super excited.
The idea that Carrier Corporation, this big nationwide corporation, thinks about our community and our families, we greatly appreciate them and would say thank you.
For more information, check out our website at HouseSmartsTV.com.
Corporate partners, personal donors, and volunteers are the cornerstone to what Habitat for Humanity does in these communities. And for over 20 years, the Carrier Corporation has played a major role in Habitat for Humanity build initiatives across the country, donating millions of dollars, financial resources, and product. Air conditioning is not just a luxury. These systems are crucial to air quality and people's health. Steve, tell me a little bit about your company. How long have you guys been in business, and what is it that you guys do?
We've been in business 12 years, and we're actually indoor air quality experts.
How'd you get involved in this Habitat build?
Got a phone call from our distributor, TEC, and from Carrier, and we just decided to give back to our community.
This is a pretty big project. There's quite a few homes going in here.
There's 23 homes. We'll have 3-man crews at each home, and hopefully we can get it done in a month. The community's been good to us for 12 years, and we just want to give a little back.
So Jerry, you're one of the big chiefs out here, huh? What is your role out here on this project?
Well, don't tell anybody about the big chief part, okay? We'll just keep that under wraps.
All right.
But what I am is I'm the senior site manager, and I'm out here in the field with the future homeowners, the volunteers, etc., actually showing them how to build a house. I've got about 30 years. I've both commercially and in residential work, and yeah, absolutely love it.
Well, Jerry, you spent all these years as a professional working with professionals. When you got a bunch of volunteers with able-bodied arms and open hearts, it's got to be a different approach, right, to make sure that stuff's getting done, but also it's getting done safely.
Yep, that's correct. We explain everything to them thoroughly. You know, here's how you hammer a nail. Here's how you hold a saw. It's amazing how quickly, with people with good hearts, and they're willing to learn, as long as they listen, everything goes smoothly and we don't have any injuries, and the house gets built and built to the standards that I want to see. Basically, the rule around here is trust but verify. That is, trust that they can get the work done. Always go back though and verify that they did it correctly.
But you're also providing an education to them in a classroom about home ownership.
With any first-time homeowner, it's very intimidating, it's daunting. We actually put on what's called a cornerstone class, whereby we teach the families how the house is going to be built, how to maintain their home. That's super key to knowing that you can go in and you know that you can just do this yourself and make it happen. And of course, we teach them financial management as well as how to live a healthy lifestyle to be a truly successful homeowner.
I think that this is something Habitat should provide for every homeowner, because I think that you could charge a good penny for that class and be busy for the rest of your life.
It would take care of me, yeah.
Jay, how long have you been working with Habitat?
I've been working with Habitat for, let's see, it'd be about 2.5 years now.
2.5 years. but you came to Habitat from a little bit different venue. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, my wife and I, at that time, were trying to buy a home. We were wanting to get out of our apartment, hoping to start a family, and we were looking around and realizing that paying what we were in rent every month, we weren't going to be able to put a down payment on a house and still get a decent rate on a mortgage. So we were pretty discouraged at that point. We applied and we started through the home ownership program, and by mid-October of 2016, we closed on our home and moved in and got to celebrate our daughter's first Christmas there and her first birthday too.
You obviously believed so much in the mission that you said, I got to go back and work with these people.
Yep, absolutely. When I walked into the meeting, the first thing Montana said that I remember was, it's not a handout, it's a hand up. And that resonated with me. This is for people who want to work hard, who want to earn their way to a home that they will then pay a full mortgage on.
AmeriCorps members are also helping to shore up the army of volunteers for this year's Jimmy and Rosalynn Carter Work Project. AmeriCorps members commit their time to address critical community needs. Recruits are sent all over the country, and their service can last anywhere from 3 months to a year. Isaiah, I think a lot of people are familiar with Habitat for Humanity, right? It's an organization been around a very long time. It's not a handout, it's a hand up, right? Where people are out here working on their own homes. But you're actually a member of a different organization called AmeriCorps.
Yes, sir.
I'm familiar with AmeriCorps, but maybe you could explain what it is and how you got involved.
AmeriCorps is the National Civilian Community Corps, the NCCC. We have 4 different regions across the country, and we serve in 5 different groups of work. My brother did this, and I seen how much he was impacting the communities that he was in, and I was just like, that sounds like me. So, and I just hopped on it. It's a great experience, especially how AmeriCorps is set up. And they're very intentional of setting up each team. You know, we're a diverse group,
right.
Whether we're from New York, Chicago, rural, urban, suburban, so being able to have this opportunity not only to serve, but to, serve those people that are in need, it's amazing.
This project has been amazing. Working with Habitat for Humanity is like nothing I've ever experienced before. We get to learn so many new skills involved in construction. Like, asked me 2 months ago, like, what is a pad load? I'd be like, what are you talking about? I don't know what a pad load is. But now we know, and we turn around and just teach others immediately what we've just been taught. And then now we have these skills, which is awesome.
Okay, you don't need to be that far out to the edge either.
Oh.
How fun is this? A little community building sponsored by Carrier. It's not just about building homes, it's about bringing people together. These are the families that are going to benefit from the homes being built as part of the Habitat build. Little activity, get the kids together, the families together, so they know each other, they meet each other. That's how a community is built, togetherness.
My oldest daughter wanted me to be able to give to my younger two. She still felt like, hey, Mom, you need something than always staying in the apartments. I've been learning a lot, and I enjoy every bit of it.
Going to the homeownership classes with everyone, you end up already kind of knowing your neighbors. So, we're already kind of building a community within a community. And I've lived here for all of my life, and now I'm going to Mishawaka, so I'm excited.
I can connect with my neighbors right away because we are so many families selected at the beginning. We have been working together for like almost 9 or some months, and I know my neighbors.
You're watching it get built, and I'm probably going to spend the rest of my childhood there, so I'm probably going to remember this. Really, I'm just happy that I can finally run around and, jump around, be a kid.
More HouseSmarts is coming up right after the break. Don't go away.
For more information, check out our website at HouseSmartsTV.com.
One of the most exciting things about this year's Jimmy and Rosalynn Carter Work Project is the inclusion of 4 net zero houses at the South Bend site. Now, a net zero house is a building that's annual energy consumption is actually equal to the amount of renewable energy created on that site.
We are here in the Shutterley Triangle in the near northwest neighborhood of South Bend, Indiana, building 4 net zero homes. These homes will have produce as much energy as they consume with solar systems on the roofs, and so They should have no electric bills throughout the year with the use of carrier systems that are being put in. They're putting in some of the best systems they have for us for these projects at no cost to Habitat. Carrier has really stepped up and helped us.
Well, we have an engineer on staff who reviews the plans, designs the system, and that's how we're able to select what we should put in at each location. And from there, our ductwork and all will be properly sealed. Everything will, the highest efficiency carrier equipment being used. And the geothermal is kind of new to the cities. Typically needed a lot of acreage in the past, but now with geothermal, we dig wells. So instead of going horizontal, we're going to dig the well vertical to get at the groundwater, which is what provides both the heating and the cooling. We'll be able to do heat, hot water, and cool all using the same unit, and it's about as efficient as you can get.
Scott, this house you're working on for Habitat, you're going to put in some of the ductless systems in here. I think a lot of people think of those systems as something as a retrofit in a home, and they're very effective, obviously, for that. But they really have the ability to be used in new construction and be highly efficient.
Yes, very much so. You're going to have one outdoor unit, and you can put up to 5 indoor units, so you can separate it throughout the house, room to room.
And in a new construction home like this, those cassettes or those units you put on the wall, you can put several of them, but they just run off of one condensing unit outside, right?
Correct. Whether it's existing space that you don't have ductwork that's accessible for, or in a new home like this, it takes the amount of time that we spend on labor for a job down from roughly a week for an average home to just a matter of days to hang one of these multi-unit systems.
Now, obviously for this Habitat home that's going for a net zero installation, this is gonna work out perfectly. But if someone else is thinking about a room addition or even building their own home, this is something perhaps they should talk to their architect about because it's a viable option for them as well.
It's a great solution for either option. In my experience, the only issues they've ever had or I've ever dealt with was on a bad install that somebody had done. Otherwise, reliability-wise, I've had 0 issues with any of these units.
You know, Habitat for Humanity has many different programs besides just building homes. They have programs for our veterans as well as for those aging in place. So we decided to tag along with Habitat and Carrier on a couple of other projects they're doing in the area.
Since I've been here in August of 2016 and we started up the Aging in Place program, we've serviced 200 plus household. We service people that are 60 older and they can't afford to have that kind of work done for themselves. Julia is a great client. She's been wonderful to work with. A couple weeks ago, over Memorial Day weekend, it was so hot that weekend and her window air conditioner went out. And then Carrier came and said, we got 2 ductless systems. We want to give one to an aging place and one to a veteran. And I thought of Julia. I called her up and told her what we could do for her. And she couldn't hardly contain herself. She was so happy that she was going to get this new unit because she couldn't afford it. This ductless system is so much more efficient. It's going to save her in utility bills. It's also quieter and it's going to cool the house better than what she could have had before.
I'm certainly very pleased and very grateful that I'm getting a unit inside my home.
Right,
it's wonderful.
Right. Todd, how long have you and your company been involved with Habitat in the area here?
We got involved with Habitat 25 years ago. It really made me feel good about what we were doing. It gave these people a sense of pride and security for their families, and it just gives them hope. So I love being part of Habitat because of that.
I oversee our Veterans Initiative, which also includes new home ownership opportunities for veterans, but also our Critical Home Repair Veterans Program. Kevin Granger was a recipient of our Veteran Repair Corps program. I called him last week to see if he needed any help with the cooling of his home, and the first thing Kevin said was, "Oh man, you have no idea how much of a difference this is going to make on my health."
I've been in this house since 1995, and was just restoring the house when I got activated. Been fighting to try to hang on to it, and I had some conditions that started happening to the house that I had no control over, and I didn't even have the financial resources to do major repairs. Montana called me and Habitat stepped in. On Christmas Eve, installed the furnace for me. I had heat for the first Christmas ever since I got back from the Middle East. And that was the best Christmas present I could ever got. I couldn't believe it. What's happening today here is just an unbelievable thing that, I mean, it's unbelievable. I didn't think this could ever happen, and Habitat stepped forward for veterans, and I'm just overwhelmed. I can't say enough of what's going on. Veterans need to know that. Go get the help. Don't be too proud. I was too proud for 14 years. And then finally I caved in, and I thought, well, yeah, and now this has happened. I thought, why didn't I do this a while back?
For more information, check out our website at HouseSmartsTV.com.
This St. Joseph County build is remarkable. I am so impressed by what's occurring here, from the land allocation, the corporate partners, the countless volunteers that are bringing this entire project to life. Now, what's really special to see is what Habitat for Humanity does for these homeowners. It isn't just about building the four walls and putting a roof over their head. It's about helping them to learn how to be homeowners, from how to understand the finances, how to maintain their home, and how to really thrive as being responsible neighbors and homeowners in their community. It's something to behold. We could all use a little of that advice. Right now, it's time for our last word. So for me, this story talking about Habitat for Humanity has really come full circle. I had the opportunity to work on a couple projects, and I have to tell you, it was one of the most rewarding piece of building that I have ever done. Working with volunteers hand in hand along with the future homeowners. It really is something special. Now, if you'd like to volunteer for Habitat for Humanity, check out this website for volunteer opportunities in your area. I promise you, it's going to be one of the most fulfilling things you have ever done. Good for you, Habitat. Keep up the great work. And we'll see you next time on HouseSmarts.